We didn't say we told you so, but God did. We did not say we told you so, but God did. A frequent verse we quote from is Obadiah, verse 15, one chapter in the whole book. For the day of the Lord draws near on all nations. This is something going to happen towards the close of the age. As you have done, it will be done to you. Your dealings will return on your own head. The way these nations treat Israel and the Jews is the way they are going to be treated, and their dealings will come upon them. As you know, the week before last, I was in the Republic of Ireland. The Protestant community, particularly the evangelical Protestants, were supportive of Israel. They had Israeli flags hanging. But the Catholic community, particularly that which is controlled by Sinn Féin and the IRA, had Palestinian flags all over the place, wrongly identifying the cause of the so-called Gaza Palestinian Muslims with the cause of the Irish fighting the British. Rewriting history, fundamentally overlooking the fact that just as the Irish are the indigenous people of Ireland, the Jews are the indigenous people of Israel, according to the New Testament, according to the Old Testament, according to history, and according to archaeology. Archaeology, we've said many times, proves the Jews are indigenous. It's irrefutable. Yet people will say things that are out and out lies that are not true. Recently, Alan Dershowitz, the lawyer, professor emeritus, Harvard Law, called Barack Obama a liar for saying there was an occupation in Gaza. Well, Dershowitz told the truth. Obama is a liar. The Israelis were not occupying Gaza. They've not been there since 2005. But Obama has a way of stating a lie as if it's a fact. The Irish government has a way of stating a lie as if it's a fact. As you've done, it will be done to you. Let's look at these two things. The Irish foreign minister, Simon Coveney, denounced Israel in the Irish parliament called the Dáil. And the leader of Sinn Féin, the political party of the IRA, which has made political gains in Ireland among young people and may be the largest next party in the election, has made demands for recalling the Israeli ambassador and canceling diplomatic relations with Israel the way South Africa has done. What's happening here? Well, we warned. At our own meeting in Ireland, at a rural area, we had people coming from all over Ireland to attend it. It was double the attendance that was anticipated. And I spoke on the subject of the relationship between Israel and prophecy and how this was being misrepresented in terms of Irish history. That is, the Jews were the indigenous people of Israel, and the Jews fought the British for their independence. That is the same as the Irish, fighting the British for their independence, and they're the indigenous people, but the popular lie is what prevailed. They ignore the fact of the burning of 7 Roman Catholic churches that took place in Gaza by Hamas. They overlook the plight of Christians. They overlook all of this. They overlook the fact that the Roman Catholics of southern Lebanon, the Maronites, were driven out of Lebanon, driven out of their homes where they've been for centuries and centuries, driven out by Hezbollah, backed by Iran, and the Israelis took them as refugees. They overlook the fact that the one place that gives Christians, including Roman Catholics, religious freedom in the Middle East is Israel, but they want to condemn Israel. It doesn't even make logical sense. Logically, the Irish should be siding with the Israelis. Nonetheless, the lie predominates. The Irish foreign minister denounced Israel and the leadership of Sinn Féin, particularly Mary Lou McConnell and others, just denouncing Israel, bringing in the so-called Palestinian ambassador to Ireland, crying and saying it's hellish and the Israelis are responsible for this. There was a ceasefire up until the 6th of October. There was a ceasefire. Hamas broke it, not Israel. Now they want another ceasefire because the Israelis are fighting back. That's what they did the last time, and the time before that, and the time before that. And somehow the Muslims become the victim. They did the attack. They killed 1,400 Jews. They beheaded babies, but now they're the victims because the Jews, the Israelis, dared to fight back. Well, what does God say? Again, we've read it many times. As you've done, it will be done to you. Your dealings will return on your own head. And this of Obadiah's own time, although it has application for then, it's the day of the Lord draws near on all nations. As you have done, it'll be done to you. So at our own meeting, we addressed this. And we had a number of people from the Republic of Ireland saved out of Catholicism joining us. Most of them were ex-Catholics who came to be born again. And they joined us. And it was wonderful. I delivered the message I did. And they were praying in Irish. They were praying in Gaelic for Israel and the Jews. I prayed in Hebrew. They were praying in the Irish language. Sinn Féin and the Fine Gael Party and Fianna Fáil Party do not represent all of Ireland. Now, because Biden is Irish American and because of the American capital investment in Dublin in the financial and high-tech sectors, there's a political sensitivity about how far the Irish would have gone in terms of their opposition to Israel. They would have toned it down because they politically had to. But that's not true under Biden. They've gotten a green light. Well, yesterday, people of the Republic of Ireland woke up shocked. They shouldn't have been. We said something was going to happen, and it did. But it was not we who said it. It's the word of God, Obadiah, verse 15. The day of the Lord draws near on all nations. As you've done, it will be done to you. Your dealings will return upon your own head. What exactly happened? People in Ireland were shocked. It's the kind of thing that doesn't happen in Ireland. A Muslim, a full-grown Muslim, 53 years old, in a nation where the political establishment is backing Hamas against Israel, a Muslim came to a school in Ireland and in front of the school stabbed a woman and stabbed 3 children. 2 of them age 5, one of the age 6. One of the children is fighting for their life. So the Muslim began knifing children. Now again, my mother's family is Irish. My mother's family was Nor'Aid. She supported the IRA and Sinn Féin. She supported Irish nationalism. And it goes on. The day of the Lord draws near on all nations. As you've done, it will be done to you. Your dealings will return upon your own head. I came from an Irish nationalist, Irish Republican background. I was brought up in that by my mother. And I know what it is, and I understand what it is. For them to gravitate towards the Palestinian radical Hamas, illogically, in defiance of historical reality and modern reality. But we warned what would happen. Now you see, my Irish cousins, what the Israelis are up against. Islamic murderers who kill children. Now they're killing Irish children. Don't say that we didn't tell you it was going to happen. We said you would reap what you sow. Not because I'm a prophet or because Moriel is so anointed of God, but the word of God is clear. It makes no mistake. The day of the Lord draws near on all nations. As you've done, it will be done to you. Your dealings will come on your own head. Now you've got Muslims stabbing Irish children, trying to murder Irish children. How do you like it, my Irish cousins? How are you doing? Kana samatatu. Takamara? You doing all right? So what are you saying to the radical Muslims that you're importing? 1,000 1,000 welcomes. Now you see what is happening in Ireland, and it is the judgment of God. It's tragic what they did to those children. May the Lord cause them to recover. But you're reaping what you sowed. And then the corrupt Irish government begins blaming the Irish citizens who react against these immigration policies. They are the bad guys. No, because the Irish government won't protect Ireland from radical Islam. The people are protecting themselves. Now, I understand why Sinn Féin is sympathetic, despite the illogicality of their policy towards the so-called Palestinians. I understand why. It's because of what they did in Omagh. They did the same thing as Hamas. They murdered children. In the name of Irish nationalism, they murdered Catholic children, the same as Hamas murders both Arab and Jewish children. I can see why Sinn Féin has common ground. Don't say we didn't warn you. We said it would happen. And my Irish cousins, it has happened. Tell it to the Taoiseach. Meanwhile, back in the United States, a man who I often agree with, surprisingly, not always, but often agree with, but I find him to be extremely naive politically because, like most left-center American Jews, he votes Democrat. And now he's beginning to realize the betrayal by the Democratic Party, by the Squad, and by Obama of Israel and the Jewish people. I speak of Alan Dershowitz, who's behaved like Alan Jerkowitz. An intelligent man who ought to know better, but now he's finding out the hard way the reality of what's become of the Democratic Party. When the October 7th pogrom began, killing 1,400 Jews and beheading the Jewish babies, Kamala Harris appeared on national TV speaking on behalf of the Biden administration, saying we need a national strategy against Islamophobia. That is the reaction of the Biden administration? We need a strategy against Islamophobia? If it had any sense, you need a strategy to promote Islamophobia because you have something to be afraid of. But let's understand what's happening here. Since October 7th, since the 7th of October, $10 million has been transferred to Iran. Who was sponsoring, who gave the green light, who equipped and trained Hamas for this pogrom. And an additional $10 million has been given to them in cutback sanctions that were enforced by the previous administration. 10 million more on top of the tens of millions they've given. But since October 7th, since the pogrom, Biden, Harris, Austin, Blinken, Jake Sullivan, undoubtedly taking their instructions from Susan Rice and Barack Obama, have given another $10 billion to Iran since the 7th of October, the 10th month of this year. Since the 10th, 7th of the 10th. How do you react to what happened? There was a ceasefire, Hamas broke it. They murdered 1,400 Israelis and begin shooting rockets like there's no tomorrow against the suburbs of Tel Aviv. Oh, we need a national strategy against Islamophobia, says Kamala Harris. And although it's all sponsored by and funded by Iran and Qatar, you give another $10 billion to Iran. As we've been saying, Iran is the #1 sponsor of Islamic terror. And the Joe Obama administration is the #1 sponsor of Iran. This is the Democratic Party. This is what they're doing. And now a Jew like Dershowitz, who ought to call himself Jerkowitz, is surprised. We warned him. We warned people like him. This is what was going to happen. Well, now Mr. Dershowitz has said it is not unlikely that we're going to see more Islamic attacks in America. Why wouldn't they? When Mayorkas and Obama have Joe Obama have opened up the border. He's beginning to realize it. The Irish are beginning to realize it. And Algerian Muslims stabbing little children, 5 and 6 years old. Now you know what Israel has to deal with, Sinn Féin. Now you know what Israel has to deal with, Mary Lou McDonald. Now you have to know what Israel has to deal with, Leo Varadkar. Now you know what Israel has to deal with, Simon Coveney. For the day of the Lord draws near. As you have done, it will be done to you. Your dealings will return on your own head. That's what the word of God said was going to happen. That's what we quoted was going to happen. And that is exactly what is happening. And as long as Israel is betrayed, that is exactly what is going to continue to happen. But there's more. Can someone find me a term other than treason to explain this? Since the 7th of October, dozens, more than 60, probably 80 attacks have taken place on American military in northern Iraq and in northeast Syria. All of them ordered by Iran. All of them carried out on the instructions of Iran by Iranian proxies. We have one American civilian contractor killed, but we've had dozens of American military, dozens of U.S. Army and U.S. Marines injured, dozens. They're being attacked every day in Iraq and Syria. Every day they're being attacked by the proxies of Iran. What is the response of Joe Obama? What is the response of Austin, of Blinken, of Jake Sullivan, and of the Iranian agents they have in their administration, including Robert Malley? What is the response? Let's give them another $10 billion. Another $10 billion. In embargo cutbacks. Let's pay for it. Let's help them do it. Let's help them kill Jews. Let's help them kill Israelis. Let's help them use their own civilians as human shields. Let's help them kill their own children. But let's help them kill Americans. If this is not treason, I do not know what is. I don't expect any justice from Congress. I don't expect any integrity from the American voters. Too many of them are too stupid. Not all of them. I don't expect anything from anybody. But I expect God to look over his word, to perform it. As you have done, it will be done to you. You want to give $10 billion to Iran to sponsor Hamas? They're attacking Americans, and you're still giving them money. Why should a president like that not be held accountable and impeached for treason? I don't understand. There may be some legal way to circumlocute the reality of it. But in practical effect, what else would you call it? Well, they can call it whatever they want. I know what God calls it. And I'm not editorializing politically. I'm simply looking at what the Word of God says. I know what God says. As you've done, it will be done to you. Finally, people like Alan Dershowitz seem to be waking up. I hope the Irish people begin to wake up. Some of them plainly are. If they read the Word of God, they wouldn't be surprised. But the Word of God means nothing to them. Let's understand something. I come from a family of Irish Republicans, but I also come from a family of Zionists. The Jews are blind to their own Messiah. They're blind to the Word of God. And I realize these things are happening to them because of the curse of the law. It's because of what it says in Leviticus 26 and Deuteronomy 18. I realize that. But I also realize what's happening to the United States in Syria and Iraq is because of Obadiah 15. And I realize what's happening to the Republic of Ireland is happening for the same reason. Sinn Féin, the IRA, kneecapped and oppressed their own people the way Hamas oppresses its own people. I get it with them. I get it with the IRA because the IRA today, Sinn Féin today, is not the real Sinn Féin of Michael Collins. It's not the original Sinn Féin. But Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil, or the American Democratic Party, none of them seem to get it either. But they will. They will get it. God will see to it personally. My name is James Jacob Pratt from Moriel Ministries. Thank you for listening.
Hello, and thank you for watching Moriel TV. There are so many things that are happening at Moriel Ministries worldwide, from the Philippines to Japan to India to Africa and back to Europe and the United States. So many of our brothers and sisters are spreading the good news of Jesus Christ to this lost world. We are so thankful for your prayers. God has been faithful and has blessed us in so many ways. If you'd like to partner with our efforts abroad and at home, please take a moment to click the link in the description and help us as the Lord leads you. Thank you very much, and God bless.